As we approach the Saturn-Neptune conjunction, I wanted to include Kathryn in these conversations because she meets liminal moments with compassion, discernment, and a deep respect for the body's wisdom, particularly when old structures are loosening and new possibilities are beginning to take shape. But before we begin, let's just take a moment to arrive together. If it feels comfortable, you may place a hand on your chest or simply notice your breath. And we'll take one breath here together. And then we'll begin. Today I'm joined by Kathryn Bonnett, whose work bridges medicine, astrology, and intuitive care in a way that feels deeply humane. Kathryn brings a rare kind of integration to her work, informed by her background in medicine and her devotion to astrology and intuitive practices. What I appreciate most about her presence is the way that she listens for what's being held within the body and the psyche, especially during times of transition, uncertainty, or dissolution. Kathy, I'm really glad you're here.
Thank you, Sally. I'm pleased to be here.
I wanted to check in with you. I know that we've been preparing and excited to share the summit with everyone that's joining us. As we sense into this Saturn-Neptune moment, and when we think about this moment that we're in, what have you been noticing in yourself or in the people that you work with?
It is definitely notable for the feeling of transition. I mean, if you talk with people, people's ideas are shifting, old structures seem to be challenged, being remade. I think it's just emblematic of the astrological times that we are in.
I really like the way you're framing that, right? A lot of the conversations that we're having with people, but also just a lot of what we're seeing around us. And you use such a great word here that it's emblematic, right, of a lot of what's going on for all of us, right? The skies affect all of us. And so
Mhm.
as we sense into this conjunction, what feels most important for people to understand or hold right now?
Me, it's presence because in my view, presence brings clarity. And with the powerful planetary shifts that are happening, it can feel energetically very overwhelming. And if you become more present within yourself, it helps to bring a sense of calmness, a sense of, okay, I am here. I am not out in the swirling energy. And so, yeah, through presence comes clarity.
That's really well said. Thank you, Catherine, for that. You know, I was having a conversation earlier today with a colleague who was talking about really feeling like just so kind of floaty, and it's difficult to feel kind of landed in his body and his bones with things, right? And it's in that space of presence where, and you stated this beautifully, like presence brings clarity. Like if we can be with this, if we can be anchored into our own selves as we're taking notice of what's happening, that's part of what will give us the clarity. And in that clarity is where that discernment space is. So I love that you're naming that. So let's go a little further with it. If we were to think about, just on the heels of that, like what feels worth paying attention to, especially beneath the noise, especially as we're working towards that presence, while like old structures are, kind of shifting and transitioning.
What is most worth paying attention to is your own inner voice. You know, presence allows you to hear it, to focus within so that you can hear that still small voice that says, I don't know, different things such as you're okay. This is a transition. This will pass. You will be fine. All of the reassurances that your inner wisdom has to offer you if you just take the time to pause, to focus, and to listen.
Beautifully said. I think, and to be frank with you, I'm so grateful that's part of what you're speaking to on the 20th with us. And it's so relevant, right? Especially with all the noise, especially with so much that is pulling on our attention. It can feel like difficult to notice that inner voice, right? And so paying attention to what am I experiencing, what's happening for me, is really part of what's going to allow us to ride these waves comfortably, and I
Mm-hmm.
want to say beyond comfort, right, in ways that are valuable and beneficial for us. So thank you so much for naming that. I really appreciate the clarity and care that you're illustrating in that entire process, and I think it's such an important piece to take with us.
I mean, I loved your riding the waves. I mean, that does energetically, I think, very aptly describe what's going on at the planetary cosmic level. Definite waves of change that are affecting the entire collective, but are felt personally.
That's an important observation, right? They're felt collectively, but we're experiencing them in the ways that we are in our lives individually. So thank you for that. Kathryn, I'm really excited about your topic specifically, and I think there is so much impact that it will have for us, especially as we're kind of, I'm gonna call it surfing, right? This energetic surfing that we have with us.
Yeah.
And so, for those listening, if this conversation resonates, you're warmly invited to join us for the Wholehearted Convergence Summit, taking place live online on February 20th. And this is a free gathering held as a shared space for orientation, reflection, and discernment. It's not prediction, not urgency, not overwhelm. We have quite enough of that going on. And this is just a moment to meet this threshold together with care, with presence, right? In service of being able to tune into that inner knowing, that inner voice that Kathryn was just speaking to. Kathryn will be one of our contributing voices joining us alongside a small circle of astrologers, practitioners, engaging this conjunction thoughtfully and humanely. And if you feel drawn, please register and learn more at the link below. We would love to have you join us. So thank you again, Kathryn. It was so wonderful to share a little bit more about this gathering together with you.
Thank you so much, Sally, and I'm looking forward to the summit.
Likewise.